Hello, beautiful souls. How are you today? Today's talk is going to probably trigger you. And I say that because there's a large population of people that have had alien abductions when they were children. I am one of them. Some of our alien abductions are not negative. Some of the alien abductions are. So the conversation today is really more of a 1, 2, 3 on our alien allies. And it will tie in to basically also how we view our own culture today. So that's why lots of hot button issues there. I know for a fact that there's many alien races that have been around the planet of Earth longer than there's been humans. If you really are truly interested in the truth, you can find it just like I did. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But this is accurate and true to the best of my ability. So I'm going to list off some of the main alien allies that we have currently today and have had for millions of years. Arcturians, Sirians from Sirius A and Sirius B, Andromedans, Venusians from Venus, the Avians, Mentakan, Pleiadians. The Pleiadian star system is what you see behind me. The Seven Sisters is what it's called. The Lyrans, Tau Centauri, Alpha Centauri, the Angelics, the Orion, Maldikian, Draco Reptilian, Anunnaki, Nibiru, Zeta Reticuli, and the Elementals, which cover dragons, fairies, gnomes, elves, pixies. So, in every race, there's good and bad. I'm going to say that one more time. In every single race, there are good and there is bad. There are certain races throughout the universe that are inhabitants and align with negative polarity planets and negative polarity agendas. Those would be the Draco Reptilian, Anunnaki, Nibiru, Zeta Reticuli, Maldikian, and Orion. But in those systems, in those races, there are also beings that do not align with the negative polarity agendas of the masses. So when we encounter new starseeds and we can detect what their space lineage is, there are some that are Orion, and there are some that are Maldikian. And I know the first time that I detected someone that was Orion, I had to just clarify, malevolent Orion or benevolent Orion. And of course, it was good. And within the Galactic Federation, um, there's beings from every race that are working for the greater good of the universe. And so I want to really very, very clear that there are Anunnaki beings working with the Galactic Federation of Light for the greater good of the universe. There are reptilian beings that are working with the Galactic Federation of Light that help to rescue and recover their fellow beings from horrible situations that they never really wanted to be in anyway, but they felt trapped. So they're working for the greater good for their race, which a lot of them just get a bad rap. Let's just call it what it is. So all races, every single one, human race, every race that we have on our planet holds both good and bad. It's just the pattern. It's a matter of fact with duality. You're going to have it. So I want you to do your research, first of all. I don't want you to just be like, well, my mom and dad said if a ship ever landed to run because they were always going to be harmful. Because that's not always the case. The majority of us that had alien abductions, that was for DNA harvesting. And the main race associated with that are known as little grays, the Zeta Reticuli. And as a people, that's really what they were an agreement to do. Like that's their whole mission in life. But you did have some that did not participate in that. Now, for me, like I always use myself as an example, I have some vague memories of my childhood, but a lot of my childhood I do not remember. And it was because when I had these abductions, my mind was wiped. And I don't really have memories of that, but I also lost memories of other things that surrounded that time frame. So a lot of people will say, I don't have a whole lot of memories of my childhood. And that usually comes up where it's as a byproduct of the mind wipe because of the abduction. Some of my abductions were good intentioned. They were my soul father and mother taking me back to the ship for healing and upgrades and nurturing, basically. Because again, not all of my abductions were good. Some were for DNA harvesting. But that usually ends for most people. It usually begins around the age of 8 to 10, and it usually ends around their mid-teens. But that's also a way that a lot of people get alien implants. Some alien implants are good. Some alien implants are not. Again, in all things, there's good and bad. So I want to bring a couple of things to your attention if you're not aware. If you or have stuck with me in this video to this point, I really think you should know about these organizations. MUFON was established in 1969, Mutual UFO Network. And they're a volunteer organization of experienced field investigators of all walks of life. And they apply the scientific method to every account of UFO sighting or interaction or abduction. And there are files and files and files and files and videos. And I invite you to check them out. It's MUFON.com, MUF as in Frank, ON as in Nicole.com. And then we have some government stuff. So Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, UA, P as in Paul, T as in Tom, F as in Frank. This was announced on August 4th, 2020 by Deputy Secretary of Defense, David Norquist. Now, there's a lot of information that was recently disclosed through Freedom of Information Act and disclosure mandates that were given by President Trump. And this task force in August of 2020 was a result of that. But there was a blacklist task force long before this very public task force. And a lot of that information that was tracked, kept, and hidden started in the 1940s with the government, with the military. And so a lot of the negative interaction that occurred was not necessarily overt and offensive, but more defensive because they were being abused, for lack of a better word, by the military. And no one wants their people being abused. A lot of times there have been encounters with aliens that are completely benevolent, and events take place out of fear and ignorance that ends up causing harm. And, you know, rules of engagement are, as long as everybody plays nice, things stay nice. But as soon as people start getting harmed or weapons start being used, the situation changes. And so some people want to believe that the human beings on this planet are the only sentient, higher dimensional beings, and we're not. We're absolutely not. We're here on this planet learning how to be better, higher dimensional beings and helping to elevate humanity out of lower vibrational status. It is a training ground, and it's often termed the Earth experiment because we are unique. We have a lot of races that added to the DNA mixture to bring us the humans that you see walking around now. And a lot of that can be found, you see evidence of it if you go back. One of my very, very favorite TV shows is Ancient Aliens, because the archaeologists are doing a lot of great work. They're just out there searching. They're just out there searching, mostly without an agenda. They're just wanting to see what they can find. And it's very interesting to me that I see almost identical hieroglyphs in multiple regions of the world that illustrate star beings coming down from the sky, which most cultures called gods because they didn't have another term for it. And all of a sudden they had a big boost in technology or building homes or electricity or communication or sailing. Things were delivered to the beings on this planet from our alien allies to help us along. And they've helped us along all along the way. It's been behind the scenes. It's not really been talked about because of fear. And basically, Earth as a population, we're very pompous. We think we're the end all be all, and we're doing it right all the time. And everyone in the whole universe will be like us. And that's just not true. This is just your only context that you have based on our existence on this planet. But those that have other context, those that can tap into their higher dimensional beings, the other dimensions that we are existing in at the same time, we see that there is life in a completely different environment, a completely different culture, completely different context that is much, much better than what we're living in right now. And we also see that our communication, our technology, healthcare, or lack thereof, is all very, very primitive and not really for the greater good because there's too much negative AI involved with it. So we're trying to elevate humanity out of that with the help of allies that come from outer space, come from the universe. Do we have allies in this dimension? Yes, we do. Do they also get help from our alien allies? Yes, they do. And I just want to ask you to please not be fearful because there's really nothing to be afraid of. The harsh truth is if any of them that I listed off wanted to cause harm to this planet, they could have done it a long time ago. And any and all of our weapons that we have developed to date are no match for any of their weapons. So you see, you have nothing to be afraid of. But that narrative that's been shoved down our throats, and that it's a threat. It's a threat to democracy. It's a threat to our national security. It's really not, because if they wanted to threaten us and if they wanted to destroy us, they could have in a heartbeat. That's not their intention, and it never has been. The threats usually come from us to them, ironically. So please be open-minded. Please also try to sit in a moment of neutrality. I know if you're watching me, you're aware that there's some bullshiggity going on in our world, right? But do you honestly think that the controllers lied to us about government and religion and healthcare, but they're telling the truth about aliens? That doesn't make sense at all. So just be open-minded that the information we've been given has mostly been untrue, but the truth is out there. If you go visit mufon.com, or you look up UAPTF and look at their press releases, their official press releases from the Pentagon, and they clearly state that there have been encounters for decades, documented encounters for decades, where no harm came to anyone but the alien because of our ignorance, because we saw them as a threat. So I just wanted to mention that because I do feel as a collective that our contact with our alien allies is very close at hand. They are choosing to uncloak more and more ships. There's many, many sightings now because that is where we are in our timeline. So if you are open to that, I can guarantee you that they're open to a conversation. Telepathic, probably. Now, I've also heard some people say, well, how are you going to know? Because they can shapeshift and they can look like this and they can look like that. That's true. And that's also true of human beings. Human beings pretend to be one thing, but you can feel their energy. I can. That's how I decide who I share my energy field with. So let's just hypothesize. And I run across a ship out somewhere. And the beings want to communicate with me. First of all, they knew that I was in that proximity before that ship ever got anywhere near the surface. They're very, very aware of life forms and what those life forms are, and are those life forms good or not? Why? Because they are higher consciousness beings. They detect energy signatures just like I do in people now. And as you ascend and as your frequency rises, you too have that ability. I am not special, I am just embracing it. So when they want to engage with me, they already know that I am benevolent just like they are. If you're not a benevolent being, they're probably not going to engage with you, first of all. But that's how you know. That's how you know. It doesn't matter what they look like, okay? Because there are some that look very, like a bug. So if you're just going by what they look like, that might kind of freak you out. But you get this sense, this overwhelming energetic feeling of compassion and kindness and love, because they're higher dimensional beings that are for the greater good in service to others. And that frequency is felt, just like my frequency is felt. It's a very calming, strong, loving energy. So whenever you encounter someone and you don't get that feeling, you get an uneasy feeling, you get a feeling of darkness and heaviness and denseness, well, then that's obviously not good. And honestly, I get that more from the humans than any other being. So I just wanted to put this out there because for as long as we've been on this planet, we've had alien allies that have helped us along the way. We wouldn't be where we are today in terms of what technology we do have without their assistance. And our government doesn't want you to know that. They're very pompous, and they want you to believe that they came up with all these things. They didn't. In spite of them, we have some advances. And with our alien friends, we have even more. So there's a good and bad in all races. How you know the difference is their energy, and they know your energy. It feels like it's loving and friendly and kind and compassionate. It's good. And that's true of human beings too. And if it feels like a threat and it feels like you're scared to death because it's some darkness there, then it's darkness there and you should make a different decision. So please be open-minded to the fact that we have a lot of alien allies helping us in the ascension journey, in the ascension of Mother Gaia. It is in the greater good of the benevolent beings of the universe that Earth ascends to positive polarity. So they are heavily invested in us succeeding and not failing. Any one of these races wanted to harm planet Earth or the beings on Earth, they could have done it a long time ago and at any given moment in time. But that is not their intention. They're good intentioned by and large. The ones that were negatively intentioned, the Alliance and the Galactic Federation have been working for a very, very long time in cooperation with the military on this planet to eradicate that. So, MUFON.com and UAPTF, Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, which is a government agency. And I recommend Ancient Aliens. I'm giving them a plug. I have no affiliation with them at all, except that a lot of their people on the show are people that are interested in our crew, I think. But Ancient Aliens has a lot of very good information that you can research, and it's tangible, and multiple people contribute to it. And it's, again, something that's seen all over the world. And I found it to be very reassuring because it does align with my core beliefs, and it aligns with things that I do confirm with my higher self and source creator. So aliens are our allies by and large and have been for as long as humans have walked this planet. So do your research. Don't just be judgmental, and don't just listen to the fear-born, because that gets you nowhere but a fear state, and that is low vibrational, and that is not going to help you ascend. I hope this information was helpful, and I hope you enjoy doing your research. Have a good day.
It's the key to life. It makes it possible for us to get out the door, challenge ourselves, and find joy. There are few things more important than our health. Throughout history, there have been breakthroughs in health technology that have made our lives longer, more vibrant, more joyful. Breakthroughs that have fundamentally changed how we think, learn, and live.
This is where the future lies, and this is why redox chemistry and supplements that employ this are so powerful.
They literally turn on and turn off, signal every single process in every living cell. And to be able to stabilize a product that allows us to replenish that is just a phenomenal breakthrough.
This has the capability to change the landscape of the healthcare system as we know it.
What if one of the biggest breakthroughs in health technology was actually something small? A breakthrough technology that works at the cellular level, where health begins.
This truly is a transformational technology. It's an elegant and very simple product that's having a profound impact.
When people ask me what I'm most excited about, it's the fact that we own the space of redox right now.
A health technology so unique and cutting edge that it is transforming health at a foundational level and changing lives all over the world.
I started using the product and I could see that it was real. It was a real deal.
And the way it changed my life was absolutely mind-blowing.
ASEA was something truly special. It was unique.
It has had tremendous impact on my life.
You know, sometimes you just have that kind of feeling that you're just going to take a leap of faith, and that's what I did.
And that became a defining moment where I started sharing it with everyone.
It's life-changing. I mean, it gave me my life back. In one word, it's profound.
A technology that empowers the most basic building blocks of your body to thrive. ASEA Redox.